Okay, good morning and welcome to Mo Knows, featuring me, Monica Mo Justice. Okay, there we are. Virtual background. Okay. I saw a message come up. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? How are you? Okay, let me get this better situated for me. I need this screen. I need this screen. Um, Not that much. So I need this screen and I need this screen. Okay. Oh, I know what I didn't do. Hold on a second. One more thing in my setup and then I'll be done. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. I believe y'all saw the chat rules when y'all entered. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Sam Francis. Um, so just to verbally say it, I would appreciate that if you are in the chat, that your chat comments are directed at the topic that I'm discussing. Number one, do not self promote because I expect other platforms to maybe be present. So I would prefer no self promotion inside the chat. No emojis. I use a program to put up your comments on the screen. And if you put emojis in there, they don't translate with the program that I use. So we are an emoji free zone here. So if you respect that, I would appreciate it. Um and that's about it. And I think the other one, the other rule is just make when you're making those comments that are on topic, talk to the topic and not take it personal. Take your personal stuff out of it. It makes it for a better conversation when you can separate your emotions from what you're actually wanting to discuss. All right, with that being said, today's title is in of itself a mouthful. It starts with the word debacle. And what is a debacle, right? It is a warship. So that means if you do not know what warship means here, warship is Mo's um, content where I directly engage with the chat for conversation and speech. Usually, the comments from warship that are in the chat could divert into what other people are thinking. But this morning, I have limited time, no more than 60 to 120 minutes to discuss what I'm discussing because it might span that time. I don't want it to, but it just might. Um, so I'm hoping it doesn't. A debacle means a complete failure. That's what a debacle means. So when people use the words in their titles and they say, "Hey, this shit was a debacle," I'm looking at something being a complete failure. That's what I'm looking to see. Let me see how this was worded. But of course, what I'm looking for may not be what's available out there. Just because I'm looking for something does not mean that the person is wrong for how they are presenting their issues. I'm telling you about measuring my expectations. When I see the word debacle, I'm thinking about something being a complete failure. So let's see how this was worded. Catching up on all these debacles. So it's like catching up on all these complete failures. And I'm like, oh, okay, I could roll with that. That video was mentioned to me because I gotta segue y'all in. And if you're not familiar with my channel, I can't. Good morning, Glib. It's obvious you didn't get the memo. But anyway, just to align with what I said about using emojis, this will be a prime example of somebody using an emoji and me not being able to paste it up here, and you see how it doesn't make any kind of sense. So we ask that you not use emojis for this purpose, because this doesn't make any kind of sense. Okay, with that being said, let's talk about, good morning, Amber. Good morning and welcome. So all this stuff is going on out here, and it's a debacle. So this video was mentioned to me because of the impact of Nunya. Now, if you are following along with this storyline, you will understand all of these people, places, and things, right? Because they come out of this fictitious world called the cemetery that I refer to as the cemetery, but it's a JK community. As a whole, I refer to it as a cemetery because I believe that the channels are dormant and not growing under the current landscape, and they haven't been for quite some time. Collectively, all the channels that are in this conglomerate are in that conglomerate not growing. They are dormant channels. So I consider it a cemetery. The reason why I'm defining that this morning is because earlier this morning when I was on John Frank's panel, that issue came up in his chat, and someone asked, or someone made a statement that they don't consider this a cemetery, and I respect their opinion not to consider it a cemetery. I consider it a cemetery, and here are my reasons. It's dormant, and in cemeteries, when you bury something, it's dormant. It's not going to come up. It's not going to grow. Although there has been proven, contrary to that, some things happen inside the casket, but that's a whole new story. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother time and place. But that's why I use that terminology. So this video that the content creator's name is the, in quotes, open quote, official, close quote, urban therapist, puts up a video, and the video is entitled Urban's Review, Catching Up with All of These Debacles. So catching up with all of these complete failures is what the video is about. Okay, so it was mentioned to me under the context that Nunya was exposed to who her or his, so I'm going to say they or them, because we don't know if Nunya is a female or a male. At least I don't know in this character. We don't know what's the sex of that character. So is this a them or a they? So the Nunya account. So I go in and I listen to this video. And to my surprise, I mentioned in the video. And I was really shocked because let me just give y'all some context behind it. I was listening, trying to speed through it to get to the point where it was at. And then something happened. I got out the car. I was moving some stuff around. So I hit the video and it went to a place and I heard my name mentioned. And then I was trying to get it out my bag to figure out, like, what? Why is my name mentioned? Why am I even in this? And then I couldn't find it. So then I was so annoyed and I was out shopping and I was like, oh, why did you ask me to watch? Like, why am I listening to this and it has something to do with me? And I'm going through all of those phases. And then I go back and I get into the car and on my way driving back from Jersey, I am like listening intensely to this 2 hour and 35-minute video and just listening to how I got incorporated into the video. And shout out to that man, because this is not intended to diss him. I'm not intending to diss him or anything. I'm not even intending to review his video, but I do want to correct some misstatements or some misunderstandings as to my positions, and hopefully he will take those under advisement as he moves forward. One, he alludes to the time in November 4th to be exact, 2021, when he made a video, I'm going to say critiquing a point of view that I have here, my POV, about a term that I use called groupthink. All right. And I go into depth telling you guys that I think that many people in a cemetery are not independent thinkers. The politically correct word is critical thinkers. They don't critically think. And to that end, I feel that some of these behaviors are characteristics of people who participate or are easily influenced to become members of cults. This is how people get jumped into cults. This is how people get jumped into gangs, right? Because they are not independent thinkers. They are going by what I call cult-like behavior. And someone, Nikkei, said to me one day, it's really groupthink. They're thinking as a group, as a collective. So I have adopted the terminology not to be so offensive by telling people that I think they're cult members around here. Cult member, remember that? By saying to them, listen, you're part of groupthink. You think like the group. So this dude right here, with the quotations, official, and for my purposes, I'm going to say unofficial. Because we established here, right? I got a foundation here when I interviewed him on my platform that one, he is currently enrolled in school, or at least he was as of November 4th. So I'm going to assume, and you know what they say about assuming, you're making an ass out of you and me. But he is attending school. He does not have a PhD or any professional licensing in being a therapist. So on this platform, I'm going to refer to him as the unofficial urban therapist because he doesn't have anything officially stating that he is. But it's not in an effort to disrespect his title. It's just in an effort to keep my language aligned with guidelines that are around here. You cannot call yourself a therapist. You cannot give advice under the grounds of being a therapist without having the credentialing. At a time when he becomes credentialed, I will definitely embrace that, and there will no longer be an unofficial on it for me. But for now, I have to say that. And even if you look, if I was to bring your attention to his in that video that I shared with you guys, in his description, he says, and I quote, it states, and I quote, the quote official, end quote, urban therapist doesn't charge for advice given. However, donations is accepted, and that is donations is accepted and appreciated. I had to stop right there because the appropriate grammar should be donations are accepted and appreciated. So, as I told y'all, you know I love to read, and when I see stuff like that, I can't go any further. So that's just from one content creator to the next content creator, you know, just some friendly advice. He gave me some in his video. He said that he can't hear me from only one ear. It has something to do with my Zoom. So I'll work with Glib later on in this month to try to see if we could work on the sound issue, this one ear sound issue, see if we could chase that down. So I do appreciate that he gave me that little tidbit with all, you know, respectfully. So I just tried to return the favor. When you're in school, one of the things that you do take is English classes, and you do have to do a lot of writing, especially in the field of therapy, because I'm sure there's therapist notes and stuff, but I know they do shorthand and all this other kind of stuff and report writing and stuff like that. So I think little issues like that are important, but you know, what say me? Anywho, this dude put out his video speaking on my construct of groupthink as it is from a clinical perspective. Okay. At the time that he did it in November, I became aware of it, looked at the video, couldn't bring myself to watch it. The emotional side of things, couldn't bring myself to watch it, called him up on my platform, spoke to him on my platform, told him, in the words of John Frank, that it made me feel uncomfortable. As you can see on my thumbnail today, I used the picture that he used because I felt like the whole development of using my content on November 4th, he did it in a way that was underhanded, that was undermining, and would have led to the perception that he and I had communicated. Because as you can see, he split the thumbnail with his image and my image as if we were having a conversation. And so there were things that I did not agree with that he did. All of the things he did on November 4th were done before I had a communication with him on November 6th when he came up here on the platform and he spoke to me. And yes, he was adamant that he would not remove the video that he created, even though I told him that I was not consenting to its usage. But I also acknowledged at that time that I had not watched his video, so I don't know the context of what he used my content for. And that I would review it at some time in the future. And there came a time when I watched it, and I still don't consent to him using it. And I will handle that in my time, in my way. On his video yesterday, the Debacle video, he alludes to the fact that I kind of copyrighted him. I had copyright concerns. What I just spoke on is the nature of my copyright concerns at that time, and they remain my concerns to this date. So, but in watching the video, the Debacle video, I kind of got the feeling like he was like, I'm not going to play her current video because I don't want to have any more problems with her, as if he had a problem. So I think the communication with me may have been the problem, but not that I copyrighted him. I have yet, And I want to use the word yet, because yet is a strong word. And if you read the book about yet, you will understand what it means. Yet is a strong word. I have yet to copyright strike any of you who have violated my copyright, who have infringed on my copyright. And today the CR in my video is going to talk about copyright. That's what the CR is about. So I have yet to infringe. You guys have infringed on my copyright, and I have yet to exercise any action, any claims against your infringement. And there's a few of you who have infringed on my copyright. So I want to take a moment and take a break and just look at what comments are here. The we and the them has to do when we're talking about the people. I don't know what they're called. They're I don't want to. I don't know when I don't know your sex. I don't know what is an appropriate language for it. So I'm just gonna say they or them or whatever. um. And from what I could see and what I gather, Nicola, who's in the channel, Miss Coleman, uh, she was probably over there for this video, so she might understand the context of what I'm gonna say next about this video. She was somewhere. I saw her somewhere. But anyway, in this video with the debacle, he goes in and they're talking about all the developments that are going on in their community, right? Their community that they kind of constructed. If you've been around this whole state gang bullshit, hey, what's up? Boom. Wait, time out. What's up? What's up? Now, ATF, I don't know if somebody else is running your account from over in that little group that you come from, but if it's you, ATF, good morning to you, sir, and long time no see. If it's somebody else operating your account, shame on you. But anyway, because over in the choppers, they got other people operating choppers accounts, so I don't know. So I'm gonna take it as that's Mr. ATF. Boom. And good morning, long time no see. Hope all is well with you. Are you gonna be out delivering papers in the morning? Anyway, off to that sidebar and back to the matters at hand. Dude's video. They formulated a team there, and they call themselves State Game. And if I am correct, that came from and I'm going to use air quotes, the dispute that they believe they had with me, and that I tried to convey to John this morning was really not a dispute worthy of me giving it much attention. So let me give y'all some background onto the alleged dispute that brought us into this state gang trilogy that they got going on. Once upon a time, I considered another content creator by the name of Joy, and the channel's name is Joy's Chit Chat. I referred to her as my cousin, and in the capacity of cousins. So this is better than if you know how families are designed, right? Your first best friend in your family is generally your cousin, okay? And if I was to say that the YouTube was my family, I would say that my Joy wasn't the first best friend I met up here, because my first best friend is Wit. Always has been, always will be. But Joy was one of the people that I really respected and was extremely fond of. We had so many things in common. So there we were. And I sent her a text message where I shared my opinion on a new collaboration that she was doing with a new prospective co-host. And I gave my opine on it. And it ended up in his hands, or he became aware of my feelings, and a whole bunch of videos ensued thereafter. When I questioned her on how did he know this, why is this going down, she gave me a response, and I gave her one back, basically saying, when matters are resolved, I expect to have an answer on this. That was the nature of the response. Not verbatim the words, because I don't feel like getting into it with people because they like to rehash events. But I'm going to tell you the tone of my message, and that was it. So of course it was taken out of it was misinterpreted. It turned into an opportunity for people who were not 1,000 yet to strike up live streams after live streams after live streams, gather new subscribers that came out of the community that I'm in, and boost up somebody's channel so that he could become 1,000. So he became 1,000 on my back. This is not the first channel that became 1,000 on my back. Ask Miss Robin Center how her channel came 1,000 on the back of Momo. So at the end of the day, I don't consider that a beef. But when I listen to people describe the conflicts, they consider it a beef. When women are friends with each other, they are generally honest with their friends in telling them how they feel about the new relationships they're in, the direction that they're going in. Sometimes the news is not always greeted as well as it should. And men, and I know this from my own personal experience, especially recently, I had this happen where I shared what a good friend of mine said to me about my man, and he did not appreciate it. And I've lived with the fallout of that, and my lesson learned is I won't repeat shit that's said to me to him. But it doesn't make for a good communication for us. Me talking about me and he, it doesn't make for a good communication with us, because then I can't be open and flexible. But it happens every single day when when a woman has a friend and her friend is looking out for her best interests. And you should have friends that are honest with you all the way. Okay, so when that occurred, there was no reason to resume or continue in a cousinly bond. It had been broken. And for me, I don't know if I adequately expressed this at the time, but I'm going to express it now. It's not the statements that bother me. It is the silence of woman when a man attacks a woman. One thing for certain, if I was engaged with a man and he disrespected my friends on the level that I felt as if I was taking the disrespect, there would have been a time when I would have to been like, sir, you need to cut that out. Let it go. I'd have had to speak up just on the grounds of that was once my good friend, and I don't like the way you're doing, my good friend. Let's move on. Let's move around here. So I didn't see that happen. So for me, there could never be anything to revisit, and it's not this is not throwing no shade, and this is not being harsh towards anyone. This is just saying these are my red lines in the sand as a woman, and these are my expectations as a woman. I've said this to you guys on the platform before, and I said it in the context of Big Shirley, the Robin Sinners, when I was speaking to you guys on a disrespect that her and her husband engaged in 2018, the summer of 2018, against me, their campaign of harassment against me. I said, why is the husband coming so hard? And the stuff he was Monica Mo just asked, if you was around, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I could not understand it. And I did not hold no deference to him. I held it against her because that's your man. And you should be able to rein in your man on a level of respecting females. There should never be a line where a man can be actively engaging in an attack and an assault on women, verbally, physically, or emotionally. Be your man doing it to your people that you know, and you stand by idly and watch that happen. It's not acceptable for me. It's acceptable for other people to engage in it, but it's not acceptable for me. And some people have done that, and I don't know what it is. You're not, listen, there comes a point in time, I'm a woman, and I clearly understand what it means to get what did Truth Out Loud say? To make her panties wet. I clearly understand what it means to have your panties wet because you are engaging with a man. A woman cannot bring you that good sensation. So I get it why you may not speak up or may feel intimidated by it. But this is how life is. I can't bring somebody the same fulfillment as they get in that man that's with them. I clearly get it. You have to think about, do I want to lose the man who makes me feel good or the girlfriend that I just talked to on the internet? Bye, bitch. Bye. Like, I get it. And I'm cool with that. And that's real talk. And if women are being really honest with themselves, they will be that honest and say that's what it is. So, listening to this guy's video, the unofficial therapist video, wherein he's saying, look, Mo, I met them when we was having that beef and people came for us. I disagree with that. I came for no one. I shared with my friend at that time, my cousin, right? At that time, my feelings on something. Not a public outcry, a personal conversation with. People, it is what it is. We do this all the time. So anyway, sir, there was no beef, and I didn't know you was involved in anything. So it was kind of thing to hear that. So it means that people vicariously include themselves in situations that ain't got shit to do with them. They do it every day. So in any event, he goes on to view a video of mine that he was given the timestamp from. So the video that he viewed of mine is a video from the other day. The name may have changed. I'm just going through my notes here. It's my last WARship video, where it's Mo's view from the cemetery gates. And I was talking about resting bitch shit, right? Well, resting bullshit, however which way you want to call it. It was RIBS, right? So we was resting in bullshit. So in that breakdown, he's listening to he's listening to what I had to say. He's acknowledging that he's not going to play the video because he doesn't want to have any copyright, and I appreciate that, sir. He doesn't want to have any copyright issues with me. And he goes on to view the video, and he's agreeing with some of the things that I'm saying. He's being directed to the point of the video that mattered to them. And then he gave me some very good information, good intel that I did not have before watching his video. I was wondering why Joy's boo thing shared my video the other day. And this is why the video got shared. The video that's entitled Mo's View from the Cemetery Gates was shared because it in their distortion of my words believed that it was a video that was a plus for them, that was supporting them. I took no sides. And I want everybody to understand this. I took no sides in y'all dispute with the ladies of The View and Joy and her mister. I have taken no view in that. All I did was listen to something, heard a sexual assault reference, an essay type languaging in a video that I disagreed with. And I said so. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. Any statement that was directed at the Mia X I felt was inappropriate. So let me just make this clear. Any and all statements spoken on the Mia X, I didn't find them to be appropriate. Period. So I'm on John Frank's live this morning, and I'm hearing from him for the first time, like the concept of it, or the way it was appreciated across the board, was that I was supporting the inappropriate comment. The comment is inappropriate, period. Incorporating, and this is what I said because I went back to listen to my video, incorporating a minor into a dispute, an adult dispute, is inappropriate. The allegations, and be it being sarcastic, sharp, or anything, they were all inappropriate. Period. I don't know how I would respond. I'm not a man. I don't know how I would respond if somebody put those type of allegations on me. I don't think I would be taking it too light on a platform. So some people respond with sarcasm, and you can honestly listen to what was stated and see or hear the sarcasm. But depending on what side of the fence your personal opinion of a situation may be, you might find yourself taking a different approach or seeing it from a different approach. I can't tell you guys how to see stuff around here. The more I try to help you process information around here, the less successful I am in trying to discourage you from the ways y'all brains work, because I understand that y'all participate in groupthink. And right now, if the group thinks that that man's statement was inappropriate, or was the starting, what was ground zero, because one of the conversations I was having with John this morning that was difficult for me to really grasp was everything he was saying was factual, but the timeline was inconsistent. And you can draw conclusions that he was drawing if his timeline was factual. And it's not. And one of the issues that we were discussing was that of this unofficial therapist utilizing my video on his platform in November. And John was saying, Monica, you told him not to do it and he did it anyway. And I'm saying, John, that's not what happened. He did it, I saw it. I told him I didn't appreciate it and to take it down, and he declined. That's the order of events. He did it. I saw it. I addressed it. I told him how I felt about it. I gave him the remedy, and he declined. No, when you hear John explain it to me, John is saying, you asked him, Monica, not, this is John's exact words, and you can go to his video, and his video link is in this video. He tells, in my description box, he tells me, Monica, you asked him not to play your video, and he did it anyway. No, those are two different things. Those are two different things. And that is the problem here when people are retelling stories around here or retelling events. They have tweaked the facts in a different timeline. And if that was true, then you can come to those conclusions. But it's not. On a platform where your words are constantly edited and twisted to create a narrative, I would find it very difficult to make statements like that, whether sarcastic or not. I agree. So I guess the consensus, and you can look up that word for yourself, consensus of the community, is that I should have condemned what he said along with condemning what women said. So another man comes in the chat, and that's the husband of one of the women on The View. And he's like, that's not what my wife said. And then it's a question of who said what first. And I'm being questioned about sequencing. And I'm saying, listen, guys, that has nothing to do with what my opinion was based on. And as long as I can walk you through, unlike y'all, with your thought process, I can walk you through why I said what I said, when I said what I said, and how I said it. It's not going to change no matter what, no matter how you tweak it. So now, one of the other arguments that came up, or questions that John asked me directly, and again, his video is in the description box, and you can go listen for yourself. You could just scroll through it till you see my avatar on the screen, and then you'll know that that's the portion where he and I are discussing. He asked me, and this is a specific question, he asked me at some point when Joy and Kelly broke up, when their friendship came to an end, right? Y'all will remember that they was on my platform arguing back and forth, and there came a time when I had to cut the video off, and I was just like in the back in a non-live component of that video talking with them. And them was, let me give you all the characters. It was Joy, it was Kelly, it was P Money, and it was Monica. 4 people were there. 4 people were present. I didn't have any recording mechanism. I don't know if the other 3 had a recorder going or not. But these are my accounts of that story. It was bad. And when they broke up, John is asking me at that time, because his question was, when they broke up, did Joy start telling you negative things about Kelly? And I said, no, she didn't. And he said, wait a minute, you told me that she did. And so I had to be like, listen, John, she told me as a friend would tell a friend, a cousin telling a cousin, be careful. This person, I remember you was putting up videos about your thing, and she didn't understand. She didn't understand you. The same videos that she put up after she was no longer associating herself with me are the same type of things that was explained to me as her feelings were about me when I was still engaging with Kelly. So Joy had warned me long before they broke up to be very careful, because she had such and such feelings. So, we didn't go into depth. Now, if you ask me and this is what I was saying on John's platform last night before we was interrupted by Kelly to say, don't talk about my family, don't talk about, bitch, bye. I'm just sorry. I can't say it any other kind of way and try to be nice. RIB. Rest in bitch, please. I can't say it any other kind of way. She didn't even really know your story to tell me about it. Whatever was going on with your family's personal, legal, criminal activities, she didn't give me no heads up. Me and somebody else might have tried to find more context around it while you was still trying to hang out with me in the sandbox, lady. I was trying to figure out what we got ourselves into. But you're not that important, and nor is any platform that important up here beyond when I was in the girl group going after Chosen King, that y'all are worthy of a dox moment by me. No. So here we are in 2022, and I think I now know the whole story. About human trafficking, et cetera, et cetera. I think I have a bigger picture between the human trafficking, the I'll shoot your eye out inside the prison. These are all the things that I've learned this year, independent of Joy. So if she knew these things about you, she didn't share them with me. And now that I know these things about you, it's because everybody's sharing them all over the place. And the reason why people brought your story, Kelly, to me is because you continue to put videos up about me all year long. You have a wall of videos about me, and people were fed up. But I'm going to tell you, y'all not fed up enough, because when y'all get fed up enough, you will stop watching this bullshit. But until you get to the point that you don't give the bullshit a view, you're not fed up enough. So don't come to me and say, hey, Mo, we don't like what Kelly's doing to you and saying about your mom, you're this and you're that, so we want to strike back. The power is in your view. If you stop viewing the bullshit, it will stop. I can assure you that. It will stop in its tracks. It needs you to feed it with a view. And that's why I took the word view so strong the other day. And I made the content that I made about the word view. Because I'm saying right now, in your face, because you cannot independently think about this shit, you're being told it's no longer for a click and all this other stuff, because people is not even monetized anymore. It's for a view. You are feeding egos around here by your views. Nothing more, everything less. Some of these people have miserable lives. Misery loves company. When they are at their most miserable, they come live so that they can draw your energy in and fuel their misery. It helps quash it for the moment. I'm sorry to say that. It brings them self-gratification. Just coming out here when they're miserable. I'm the opposite. I prefer to come out here when I'm good. I'm not begging you guys for no money or asking for a cash app. They are. Majority of the folks up here will tell you, hit my cash app. And they're telling you this from a perspective of, I'm financially broke as fuck. Hit my cash app. Make me whole again. That's what they're coming out here asking you to fund their life. Now let's talk about funding for a moment, because I think I'm done with the debacle video. I think I'm done with talking about complete failure. Folks should leave the kids out of it. And if people believe that I took one side over the other Know that I took the side of Mia X. Period. And that was it. And all I said on the platform, on my platform, not to repeat the vulgar comments, was how I felt, how something made me feel. At this point in time, if you can say I'm disappointed in something or something has hurt me and that too should not be shared, wow. Wow. It's saying a lot about where we are in terms of language, where we are in terms of communicating with one another. My apologize, peeps. I needed to take that. All right. So moving on, right? Um, Let me see. You weren't even speaking to dude or knew him from that to have been said. Well, no, but at the end of the day, uh, so I don't know if I honestly don't believe that when I was asked to look at the video, or when the video was mentioned to me, this urban therapist video, and it was mentioned to me in the context of Nunya, it was a blessing in disguise, because it answered the question as to why my video was shared out by Joy's man, and then it answered it brought me some background that I needed to have. And hopefully, this discussion that I'm sharing with you has shed some light to those who are trying to sort this out. But again, in my comment section, if you got any questions, comments, or concerns about what I just said in respect to the debacle, hit me up, mojustice72@gmail.com. You can put it there if you want to be more private. I don't know what's private anymore in this world, because it seems like people don't respect private conversations, but shit is what it is. Moving on, let's talk about extortion, and let's talk about this copyright stuff. Now, Urban, the unofficial therapist, right? I could have flagged his video when he did the video on me, right? But I am a firm believer as playing everything out, right? Maybe that's why I got the chess pieces behind me or not. I play out every scenario. I'm not a one move bitch. I'm looking at the moves that could come around something. So I'm about to walk y'all in my mindset for a minute. I'm going to bring you into my mindset so that we don't have no more misunderstandings on here about this copyright stuff, all right? If a person comes to me respectfully and asks my permission to utilize my video, I will address that request on a request by request basis. And that's what one should be doing. If we have any respect for each other on this platform, that's what one should be doing. If you are sitting up here and you're looking at your channel as a professional avenue to become a revenue base for you, another stream of revenue for you, you should be considering ways to stay professional. And to stay professional, the courteous thing would be to get in writing your intent to use something, the reason why you're going to use it, and ask the person for their permission to use it. It's theirs. You should do that. That's what professionals would do. That's why it's a copyright. You guys want to hide under the provision that says that there's fair use. Fair use is limited. It has a limited scope to the fair use. Okay, so in this scenario by YouTube, this is how this works. I create a video. I'm the content creator. Urban, and I'm going to use him as an example, decides he wants to use my video. And he uses it without my permission. I have the right to file a copyright claim against him. So according to YouTube, if a copyright owner, and this is very important, you have to be a copyright owner. And I keep telling everybody that tells me this, right? Once I make a video on this YouTube, this is what people's mindset are. I made a video on this YouTube. It's my video. It's YouTube's video. You don't have a copyright. My position is you do not have a copyright to your content unless you copyright your content. That's how it goes. If you copyrighted your content, then you can prove it. Otherwise, you don't have copyright to this. So back and forth, people are always saying, I made a video on YouTube. You use my shit. I'm going to copyright you. I'm going to put a copyright claim against you. You can do that. But here's the dilemma. And this is where we are at in this View versus Joy and her man. They do a copyright on Joy and her man's, I guess it was her man's video. He now, and this is out of the YouTube guidelines, so you can go read this for yourself. It says, I quote, if a copyright owner submits a valid DMCA, David Michael Charlie Adam complaint, YouTube will take down the video, and listen to this word, and apply a copyright strike. This is not optional. When someone files a copyright claim against somebody using their video, this is YouTube's response. They will take down the video and they will apply a copyright strike. Okay? So in this instance, and then it goes on to say, and I just want to clear up what it goes on to say. If the user gets 3 copyrights in 90 days, their account, understand, number 1, their account, number 2, along with their associated channels. All right, this is what Tommy Sotomayor is going through. His associated channels will be terminated. This is an issue that Karen keeps trying to put up about many of the terminated channels that are here on the YouTube. She's saying YouTube is not adhering to their policy of removing people who, along with their associated channels, have been terminated. That's another issue, but that is an issue. So that is the whole thing. So now when the copyright person files against, and the person, the action that now happens next is that the person's video is removed and there's a strike. Not only you who watched Joy's boyfriend's video will know if it was removed and if it stays removed as of right now. Okay? And then none of us would know there's a strike. But how do we know there's a strike? Because Joy's boyfriend filed a counter to the a counter copyright. And how do we know this? Because The View showed us. put it on their channel, showed us the email that came in at 10 p.m. and said, hey, this is the email that I received for a counter. And she read you through it. That's because he got a strike. Now, why is a strike important? When you're part of the YouTube the YouTube AdSense payout, whatever the check that you get from the YouTube, right? In order to get that check, your account must be without any strikes. It has to be strike free. So when you hear people saying, I'm getting a YouTube paycheck, I'm getting a YouTube paycheck, blah, 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 one of the criterions is that you have to have a strike free account. Now, some people want to say to me, I got a check and I had a strike, right? So I can only tell you what the rules say. But I don't know if it's applicable in practice. But you can ask Joy's boyfriend if he's got a strike. You can ask Joy's boyfriend if he is feeling any certain kind of way about losing revenue while he has a strike. Those are fair questions because I believe that those are the issues that are at bay right now. So John puts up a video and says there's a red flag or something. I go in that video early this morning and I see comments that say there's a white flag on the play, and I asked who was the white flag on, and he said that the ladies from The View threw in a white flag, but we don't know if that's true or not. So I don't know, but all I could tell you is that she holds the upper hand in this situation right here. So now what happens? According to that email, it says in the next 10 to 14 days or something to that effect, she has to prove that that's her video and that she's taking legal action against the content creator for using her video. And if she fails to do so within the 10 to 14 days, the penalty against Joy's boyfriend's channel will be uplifted, which means that the video will be will not be taken down. It will be re-uploaded by YouTube, and his strike will be removed. And I'm saying, furthermore, ergo, he will continue to receive his YouTube paycheck. That's a lot in one breath. So what are we going to look at? This week, everyone has put out content showing how hypocritical people have been here. Like one day, they have had disputes with each other, cussed each other out, called each other this, did that. Those are all the videos that are coming out from Joy's boyfriend's camp, from that section over there, showing the hypocrisy of relationships around here. But I encourage you to understand that this copyright thing, this is the foundations of how those hypocrisies begin. The hypocrisies begin trying to make a deal. But all one has to do, even though The View has the upper hand right now, because all they can do right now is one of two things: wait for 10 days and then they don't have no more power, or she can begin the process to file against the channel more formally. And then that's when the statement that was written is going to come into play. And to her credit, The View lady said, I might have to consult a lawyer on this one, because normally I let this go at this point, but I might not want to do that. And I agree with her, because I think she should go right ahead and consult a lawyer. And I think if she feels that her content was infringed upon, I think that she should act on it. And you see all of these steps, that's why I have not taken copyright strikes against people, because of these steps in the process. When I walk through the whole process, I want to be at a position right now. We're going to talk about chess, right? Right now, that counter, on day one of that counter was a check. If she doesn't respond in 10 to 14 days, that becomes Trey, Joy's boyfriend, making that a checkmate on her. Right now, she's in a check position because she could still get out of it. There's an avenue for her to get out of it and still come out a winner. But when the time runs out and it becomes a checkmate, is when he gets the strike uplifted and the video uploaded again. Then that becomes a checkmate. So right now, these are the plays on deck. And no, I can't explain this on somebody else's platform. I really have to talk these things out on my platform. So much love to John, and I appreciate that you gave me the opportunity to come up there last night, but this morning it was the wrong venue for me to speak this because it's not something that would interest you, John. So it's not something that you would embrace. What you do embrace is, and I had a conversation with John afterwards, is trying to be a mediator between mediocre type stuff. And I know this is big stuff for you, right? These disputes may seem big. To me, they're mediocre in size because they will go away in time. Time heals all wounds, and they will go away in time. I cannot change the way a person feels about me, no matter how the circumstance plays itself out. All right, so right now, I'm calling this the copyright extortion play. And we've seen this flag on play several times back and forth. And this is what, and YouTube gets themselves out of it because they're at a point where they said, okay, when we see the legal action, then we will act because we're going to use your statement of perjury. Now, there have been allegations that the statement that Joy's boyfriend presented was perjury. I read the statement. I was like, what? What difference does it make that he was given a video from where he got the video from? The original owner is going to be the person that says it's their copyright. So just because you get something, so imagine getting a replica of something. That's a replica. Like, a replica is not a good example to use, but just because other people used it or you got it from somewhere and you was led to believe that it was this person's property, right? This is like stolen property right now, right? If you were in possession, so imagine this, okay? We'll use a car. Imagine a person had a car. So let's say copyright right now is a BMW. And let's say that the View was riding around in a BMW. And all of a sudden, she lost her her BMW was stolen from her. And Nunya stole it. So Nunya's riding around with the BMW. And she gave the BMW to Joy's boyfriend. Remember, this is a hypothetical, so I don't want people to be running around here thinking people got BMWs. The BMW in this example represents copyright. And she gives the BMW to Joy's boyfriend. The question is, for the copyright, is it Nunya's or is it still the View lady? It still belongs to the View lady. It's her car. Doesn't matter how you came into possession of her car. You still got her car. It's her copyright. So that's one to grow on. The issue that surrounds Nunya was the breach in the relationship. That she would be running around behind the scenes, passing out the car to somebody else. Like, why would you do that in the first place? So there was deception and, all those other things going on as hurt there. So maybe some negotiation can go around that has to do with extortion. But the bottom line, a check is, there's a chess player sitting there right now saying, check. But if you make the wrong move, which is no move in this case, the next thing the person will say is checkmate. Okay, moving on. I think I took care of John Frank intertwined in there with the urban therapist, and I talked about the copyright situation. Questions, comments, and concerns in the chat this morning. I had, I dissolved, and I want to make sure I make this clear. I dissolved the terminology that I used here on my channel called the influencer, right? From time to time, I refer to OGs, original, or should I call them OIs, original influencers, as that influencers, right? But its establishment here as being a leg into my channel. The circle of how did I get influences? Again, I started with this book club theory and calling it the circle of influence. And then people shortened it up and said, yo, I'm an influencer. And then I got attacked by the Robin Sinners, and most people that were here in my chat were either afraid, and they went with they were afraid of what they saw coming out the Robin Sinners, or they disliked me that much that they went and united with the Robin Sinners. But there was a mass exodus, and I kept a core group of people around me, and we had a blast for the time that we had a blast with, right? So I put up a video and I dissolved the theory of the influencers because I understood that YouTube uses the word influencer for their overall program, and I did not want to have conflicts in distinguishing folks from folks. All right, so a term started to develop called day ones, right? And there still seems to be an emphasis on where the day ones are at. The only day one that's important to me is me. I am sorry that I have to be so damn blunt, okay? And I'm gonna tell you, my two day ones that was supporting my endeavors on this channel are still down with me, and it's a male and it's a female, and you know who they are. You understand? So everything else is existential to that, and I'm the day one. So you can call it what you want to call it, but I'm my number one day one. Okay. And that's just the basis of it. When people want to break your spirit, they will try to pick at what they think are your weak spots. I don't got any. I'm just, when it comes down to these relationships and all this other stuff, I am accustomed to being by myself. I say I loved and lost, and I kid you not, I prefer every day to have fallen in love and lost that love than to never have fallen in love at all. So any relationship, and this is what I was saying at the conclusion of my last video, any relationship that I'm in, and I love the person, and I tell you that I love you, or or have a real good feeling that I love you, and we sever our ways, again, I am better off that I loved you and lost you than to love you and keep you around when it's not going to be a good ending for us. So the relationships, if you look at relationships from that perspective, it might help you understand how you can sever relationships without it being messy. Cause this is how I do it. And this is why I don't harbor animosity towards people when I'm no longer engaged with them. So point in case, if I was to be in a relationship with a man today, right? And that man and I break up, and I was in love with him, I'm gonna feel like it's better that I had loved him and lost that relationship than to never have loved at all. Cause whatever's going on in that period of time when I was in love with him was a good period of time. And it is sustainable. You know, the situation with Cheek passing away, it has held me to this day. Um Relationships take a lot of work, they take a lot of understanding, and they take a lot of patience. And you've got to be willing to be patient with the person that you're in a relationship with. Friendships or more intimate, no matter what, you have got to be more you've got to work. It's a work in progress. It doesn't they don't just, what's the best way to say it, like, you got to work at it. You've got to work at it, and you've got to be honest with yourself every step of the way. When you're in these relationships, you must be truthful with yourself. Anyway, any questions, comments, or concerns from the chat? Because I'm about to do my closeout. Okay, if you agree with my content or not, you can hit the like on your way out. Thank you for the folks that did hit the like on their way in. You know, that's what it is. And, you know, that's where we are at. I hope I covered everything. Oh, let me just look at my notes. The white flag. Let me go through my notes and see. John Frank's panel, the white flag. This guy, the sound check thing. I made sure I put it up in here. Boom, 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 boom. Covered the copyright. I didn't cover a lot. I didn't cover that part, but I had some very good calls this morning on the phone. And I'm glad I had those conversations because they really helped me stay focused on my focus today. I saw a video of Nicola's from a couple of days ago, and she's like, Mo even had the COVID. The COVID. Yes, I did have the COVID. So that explains some things, because I heard in the other video from the unofficial therapist that I hadn't been making videos. I hadn't been consistent with making videos. They hadn't seen me for a minute because he still subscribed to my channel. So I appreciate that, sir. Thank you for your continued support. Disney didn't ask a person not to play my video. All right, I did that after the video was made. I wasn't properly no. Okay, so I went through that. Let me see. Oh, there was that comment, but I think I'm gonna make a video about it. The one where it's the enemy of your enemy. Are you that enemy friend shit comment? I'm gonna have to take that apart one day to really discuss what that means to me. Again, these are my feelings and my reflections on things. Tomorrow, I'm probably gonna rest up because it is a holiday. It is a federal holiday, and I start a new endeavor on Tuesday, and I want to have a fresh start on Tuesday to do it. So that's where I am at in my journey, and I'll keep you guys posted as we go along, because there are changes coming to the platform in and of itself, and some of you may have experienced some of those changes. So we'll have a discussion about that. Seeing that there are no questions, comments, or concerns in the chat, let me just make sure that I go to this other chat window, because I might have had a delay. Oh, wait a second. Oh, there's more of y'all over here. So this thing come through over here. Okay, wait a second. Let me see what I got. That is the main problem around here. Too many terminated channels are acting as if they never been terminated. All right, let me see if I could refresh this thing right here. Because, see, this is what I be saying. The last comment I got was this one. But I see y'all have more comments over here. Oh, nah, not that broad. That don't bite her tongue. You know, I gotta read this in my mouth. Okay. She broke. Oh, I can't with you. You gonna say she broke, she ain't got a lawyer. Yo, anything's possible. When you stand on your convictions, anything is possible. Hey, Clarendon, I didn't see you in there. Oh, I'm glad I wasn't arguing with John about this check and this checkmate. It is if someone count. I'm not. Go back to my video. I stand on what I say. Bro gone. Have his video back in 10 to 12 days. Not counting the weekend. All right. No mo. We out of Tough City today. Pull up. All right. I don't know what that is. I have a concern. I also have comments. I also have comments on Fordham. Oh. I'm not pulling up to Fordham. It's gonna rain today, and I got some stuff I'm doing. And y'all know I'm in a relationship, right? So I can't. I spend most of my time in my relationship. I'm putting stuff on. The enemies of my enemies is my acquaintance. Oh, that's how it goes. All right. Yeah, I wasn't seeing these, and this didn't come through my little app over here. This thing be pissing me off when it be messing up like this. Let me see if I could start this over again. Let me get the URL for this chat. I'm mad because I missed all of these and I like to get it. Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with you, John, about a check and a mate. Right now, I tell you it's in check status, and I stand on that until I see a checkmate moment. Okay. Hey, Noble. I heard you. I was in the car yesterday. I heard you live, and uh, yeah. Um, so I'm gonna have to do a video. I'm gonna have to do a video on the checkmate thing. Um, yes. All right. So I got these. Wait a minute. So now I think I could post these now. Did I get this? Yeah, I'm posting them now just so that I have them. Clarendon, I'll be by you today. I'll come in and chop it up with you today. As long as it's later on in the afternoon. All right. I think I got them all up there. Anyway, Seeing no further comments or concerns in the chat, I'm going to do the sign off. Today's broadcast was brought to you by the M and the O. Mo, mo, mo.